For 9 years, Linda Evans played the perfect wife on Dynasty. In real life, she was hiding a painful truth. Her husband had left her for a teenage girl. Her co-star was trying to destroy her career, and a single on-screen kiss nearly ruined everything. Today, at 82, she's finally exposing what really happened on TV's most dramatic show, and why she had to escape before it killed her. Linda Evans was born Linda Evenstad on November 18, 1942, in Hartford, Connecticut. She was the second of 3 daughters. Her parents, Arlene and Alba Evenstad, were professional dancers, but their family history stretched far beyond the stage. The surname Evenstad came from a small farm in Norway. In 1884, Linda's great-grandmother left her homeland and traveled to the United States with her young son. That journey marked the beginning of a new chapter for the family. When Linda was just 6 months old, her parents moved to North Hollywood, California. The decision placed her right in the heart of the entertainment world, but her childhood was far from glamorous. Money was tight, and when her father passed away, her mother relied on Social Security benefits to support the family. Despite growing up in a city filled with actors and entertainers, Linda remained quiet and reserved. Her extreme shyness became a real challenge. She dreaded speaking in class, refused to give book reports, and avoided anything that put her in the spotlight. One of her teachers saw this and suggested drama classes to help her build confidence. At 14, she reluctantly agreed to try. It wasn't easy. The idea of performing in front of others terrified her, and sometimes the anxiety made her physically sick. But something surprising happened. Acting gave her an escape. For the first time, she wasn't just Linda Evenstad. She could step into someone else's shoes. Then came an unexpected turning point. When she was 15, a friend asked her to come along to a commercial audition. Linda had no plans to audition herself. She was just there for support. But while she waited, casting agents took notice of her. Something about her presence stood out. They asked if she wanted to try for the role. Nervous but encouraged, she agreed. To her surprise, she got the part. That moment changed everything. The commercial led to more opportunities. Her journey started with small roles on television in the early 1960s. She made her first guest appearance in Bachelor Father in 1960, acting alongside John Forsythe. Years later, they would reunite on Dynasty, but back then, she was just another young actress trying to make her mark. Over the next few years, she appeared in The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, Wagon Train, and The Lieutenant. These roles weren't groundbreaking, but they gave her experience and helped her prove she was more than just another pretty face. Breaking into Hollywood was tough, especially for a young actress. Looks could get you noticed, but real success required something more. Evans had to work hard to show she had talent. While she was still finding her place in the industry, she found herself at the center of an unexpected moment in pop culture. In 1967, she was there when Evel Knievel attempted his infamous motorcycle jump at Caesar's Palace. The stunt went horribly wrong. Knievel crashed, suffering serious injuries, and Evans ended up witnessing one of the most talked-about moments in Daredevil history. Her career took a real turn in 1965 when she landed the role of Audra Barkley on The Big Valley. The show was a Western drama about a wealthy ranching family, and Evans played the strong-willed daughter of Victoria Barkley, a role brought to life by Barbara Stanwyck. Audra was a different kind of female character for the time. She was bold, rode horses like her brothers, and wasn't afraid to get involved in the action. Over 4 seasons, Evans appeared in 82 episodes and became a recognizable face in American television. Stanwyck wasn't just a co-star. She became a mentor, and a guiding force in Evans's life. While filming the show, Evans lost her mother. Stanwyck, who had never had children of her own, stepped in and told her, "I guess I'll have to be your mom now." That bond shaped Evans both personally and professionally. Watching Stanwyck work taught her the discipline needed to succeed. The experience changed her approach to acting and gave her confidence in her abilities. Even with success, Evans faced challenges. Hollywood often saw beauty as more important than talent. Actresses like her were frequently given roles that focused on appearance rather than depth. Women were paid less than men and often played supporting roles to male leads. While male actors were given complex characters, actresses had to fight for parts that showed real personality. Evans refused to let the industry define her. She found ways to bring depth to her characters, even when the scripts didn't demand it. That determination paid off years later when she took on the role of Crystal Carrington in Dynasty. Crystal was more than just a glamorous character. She had strength and emotional depth, proving Evans could deliver more than just beauty on screen. Evans also explored film roles that took her beyond television. In 1975, she starred in Mitchell, a crime thriller with Joe Don Baker. It was different from the westerns and dramas she was used to, and it gave her a chance to work in a grittier genre. Then, in 1980, she acted alongside Steve McQueen in Tom Horn. She played a schoolteacher who admired McQueen's character, but also feared his violent nature. Working with McQueen was a challenge and a learning experience. He was known for his dedication to realism and pushed everyone around him to give their best. The film had its share of struggles, including rewrites and director changes, but it told a powerful story about a man who no longer fit in the changing world of the West. Evans's career lasted for decades because she adapted. She didn't fade away after a few good roles. She worked through challenges, learned from mentors like Stanwyck, and proved she was more than just a beautiful face on a TV screen. When Dynasty first came into Linda Evans's life, she wasn't sure it was the right move. Soap operas weren't exactly seen as high-quality television at the time, and she had already built a solid career with roles in The Big Valley and guest spots on hit shows like The Rockford Files and McCloud. Shifting into a primetime soap felt risky, especially since Dynasty was unproven. It was ABC's answer to Dallas, but in its early days, the show struggled to find an audience. Evans had been semi-retired when the role of Crystal Carrington came along, and stepping back into the spotlight with a show that might fail wasn't an easy decision. What changed her mind was the character of Crystal Carrington. Crystal wasn't like most soap opera leads. She had warmth, grace, and a quiet strength that stood out. Evans saw something real in her, something she could bring to life in a way that felt honest. That made all the difference. In 1981, she took the role and became Crystal Carrington, the new wife of oil tycoon Blake Carrington, played by John Forsythe. She and Forsythe had worked together years earlier when she was just starting out, and their natural chemistry made their on-screen marriage believable. But the show's biggest spark came when Joan Collins joined the cast as Blake's ex-wife, Alexis. Collins's arrival changed everything. Dynasty went from struggling to soaring. The tension between Crystal and Alexis became the heart of the show, leading to legendary confrontations that kept audiences coming back for more. By 1984, Dynasty had become the most-watched show on television, and Linda Evans was a household name. Her role in Dynasty made her more than just a TV star. It turned her into a fashion icon. Costume designer Nolan Miller created unforgettable looks for her, from elegant gowns to bold power suits. Women everywhere wanted to dress like Crystal Carrington. Evans's style helped define the glamour of the 1980s. But her impact wasn't just about fashion. In a time when women were pushing for more independence and power, Crystal stood as a symbol of strength without losing her kindness. Evans's performance connected with audiences in a way few actresses could. By 1985, she was earning $100,000 per episode, making her one of the highest-paid actresses on television. She also won major awards for her work. In 1982, she took home the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a television drama. She won 5 consecutive People's Choice Awards from 1982 to 1986, showing just how much fans adored her. In 1983, she earned an Emmy nomination, proving she wasn't just popular, she was respected. Linda Evans and Joan Collins brought one of television's greatest rivalries to life in Dynasty. As Crystal Carrington and Alexis Colby, their on-screen battles became legendary. But behind the scenes, their relationship wasn't much different. Evans has admitted that working with Collins was complicated. Their personalities clashed from the start. Evans saw herself as warm and easygoing. Collins was more assertive and confident. This contrast often led to tension on set. Collins later said they were at opposite ends of the spectrum. One major issue was their approach to stunts. Collins avoided them, following advice from Hollywood legend Gene Kelly. He had warned her about the risks of doing her own stunts. Evans, on the other hand, loved them. She threw herself into every fight scene, while Collins preferred to be careful. This difference in work style made their relationship even more strained. Evans sometimes felt that Collins's attitude was personal. Collins believed Evans misread her intensity. The high-pressure environment of Dynasty only made things worse. But no matter what happened behind the scenes, they both stayed professional on camera. Their real-life tension may have even made their performances more convincing. Their fight scenes weren't just dramatic. They were real. One of the most famous brawls took place in a pond, where both actresses wrestled in the water while wearing expensive costumes. Collins later revealed that during one take, Evans accidentally hit her chin. The director didn't call cut in time, so the moment stayed in the final episode. The scene took hours to film. Collins had to keep her balance in shallow water while wearing a heavy hat that wouldn't stay on. By the end, both actresses were exhausted. Evans's love for stunts sometimes led to small injuries. While Collins avoided unnecessary risks, Evans went all in. That dedication made their fights look more intense, but also led to real bruises. Fans loved every second of these over-the-top brawls, but behind the scenes, the struggle was real. These fights weren't just entertainment. They were physically demanding, sometimes even painful. Years after Dynasty, Evans and Collins reunited for a stage play called Legends in 2006. The show was about 2 aging movie stars who hated each other but were forced to work together. The story mirrored their own history. From the start, things were difficult. The 30-week tour across North America brought back old tensions. Evans later admitted that working together again had its trying times. Even the play's producer described it as a comedy about big stars and bigger egos. Rehearsals weren't easy. Collins's strong personality clashed with Evans's quieter nature, just like it had on Dynasty. The constant travel made things worse. They had to work closely together with no break, which only increased the strain. Despite the tension, Legends attracted plenty of attention. People were curious to see if their real-life drama would spill onto the stage. The play got mixed reviews, but audiences couldn't get enough of the tension between its 2 stars. Looking back, Evans has said the drama backstage was worse than anything on stage. The play may have been a comedy, but working together was no joke. Evans struggled with Collins' controlling nature. Collins reportedly found Evans too sensitive. The long tour only made things harder. At times, Evans dreaded going backstage because the tension was unbearable. Even with everything that happened, both actresses remained committed to the show. No matter how they felt about each other, they never let their personal struggles affect their performances. Meanwhile, Linda Evans never imagined that a single kiss would change her life. In 1984, while filming a scene for Dynasty, she shared an on-screen kiss with Rock Hudson. He played her love interest, Daniel Reese. What she didn't know was that Hudson had already been diagnosed with AIDS. He kept it a secret from everyone on set. The episode aired in early 1985, months before he revealed his condition to the public. When the truth came out, the kiss became the center of controversy, fear, and a conversation that Hollywood wasn't ready for. At the time, people knew very little about AIDS. Misinformation spread faster than facts. Many believed the virus could be passed through casual contact, even a kiss. When Hudson announced his diagnosis in July 1985, the reaction was immediate. The media ran wild with speculation. Some reports claimed Evans was panicked or demanded blood tests. None of it was true, but rumors had a life of their own. The real impact, however, wasn't just in the headlines. It was in the way people treated her. Even before the world knew, Hudson struggled with guilt. The script required a kiss, but he felt trapped. If he refused, people would ask questions. If he went through with it, he would have to live with the weight of secrecy. His secretary, Mark Miller, later said, he couldn't ask them to change the script. He felt either you announce you have AIDS or kiss the lady. Hudson chose to stay silent. On the day of filming, something felt off. Hudson was known for his effortless charm, but this time, his kiss seemed hesitant. Evans noticed. So did the director. It lacked emotion, so they reshot the scene. Still, Hudson held back. No one knew why. Behind the scenes, he had taken extreme precautions. He used multiple mouthwashes and sprays, convinced it might somehow make a difference. Later, he told friends it was one of the worst days of his life. When the truth came out, Evans faced a different kind of fallout. People started treating her like she was dangerous. Some refused to hug her. Others avoided standing too close. On set, colleagues distanced themselves. Producers even changed scenes to limit her contact with other actors. She later said, "People wouldn't hug me anymore." Even friends canceled dinner plans out of fear. Through it all, Evans never blamed Hudson. She admired him even more. She took an HIV test, not because she believed she was at risk, but because people pressured her into it. Instead of being bitter, she used her platform to challenge the fear and misinformation surrounding AIDS. Years later, she reflected on that time with clarity. I got to see who people were. Linda Evans surprised everyone when she left Dynasty in 1989. The show was in its 9th and final season, but she was gone after just 6 episodes. At the time, she was one of television's biggest stars, earning $100,000 per episode. She had won a Golden Globe and multiple People's Choice Awards for playing Crystal Carrington. But despite all the success, she felt something was missing. For 3 years, the show had consumed her life. There were no breaks, no time to rest. The constant filming and pressure to maintain her image had drained her. "It was a gift from God," she later said. "But I knew I wanted more out of my life." She was 47 and ready for a change. But leaving was harder than she expected. After nearly a decade with her castmates, they had become like family. Walking away left her feeling lost. Her biggest change wasn't in her career, but in her lifestyle. She left California behind and moved to Washington State. She had bought a lakeside home while filming Dynasty, but after leaving Hollywood, she made it her permanent home. She later downsized to a cozy 2-bedroom house, but added guest cottages and filled the space with natural light. Living there gave her a new sense of freedom. She no longer had to worry about how she looked. She gained weight on purpose, enjoying the freedom of not having to fit into Hollywood's beauty standards. More than anything, she wanted peace. She focused on health, family, and rediscovering herself. Linda Evans's love life has been filled with passion, heartbreak, and unexpected twists. Her first marriage was to actor and director John Derek. They met in 1965 while she was starring in The Big Valley. Despite their 16-year age gap, she fell deeply in love. They married in 1968, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. Evans supported Derek financially when he left acting to focus on directing and photography. She believed in him and their future together. But everything changed in 1973. On Christmas Day, Derek sat her down and told her the truth. He had fallen in love with someone else. That someone was Bo Derek, a 17-year-old girl he met while filming in Greece. The affair had started when Bo was just 16. To avoid legal trouble in California, Derek stayed in Europe with her until she turned 18. Evans was devastated. Her marriage had been built on trust, and in an instant, it was gone. By 1974, the divorce was final. 2 years later, John married Bo. They remained together until his death in 1998. Evans later admitted that the betrayal nearly broke her, but she refused to let it define her. She picked up the pieces and tried again. In 1975, she married property executive Stan Herman. This time, she wanted stability. But even this marriage didn't last. They divorced in 1979. During this time, Evans threw herself into her career. Soon after, she landed the role that would change everything. Crystal Carrington on Dynasty. The show made her a household name, proving that even the deepest heartbreaks can lead to something greater. Over time, something unexpected happened. Evans became friends with Bo Derek. She even grew close to John Derek's other ex-wives, Ursula Andress and Patty Bears. Bo later admitted that she felt guilty for what had happened, but she also spoke about Evans's kindness. Evans once said, "I don't stop loving people just because relationships end. I learned to love them differently." In 1989, Evans fell in love again. This time, with Greek composer Yanni. He was 12 years younger, but that didn't matter. Their romance lasted nearly 9 years. She stood by him through world tours and even helped produce his PBS specials, Live at the Acropolis and Tribute. Wanting to keep up with him, she underwent plastic surgery to maintain her youthful appearance. When they parted ways in 1998, there was no bitterness. Evans still calls Yanni one of the great loves of my life. Linda Evans lived a life that looked glamorous on the surface, but behind the scenes, she was in constant pain. It all started with a slipped disc, a small injury that turned into years of suffering. The pain was so intense that she fell into a deep depression. She reached a point where she questioned whether life was worth living. She later admitted, "I really understood why people say, 'Maybe I don't need to be alive,' because it's so painful to be alive." And nobody had an answer. For years, she searched for relief, but found nothing that worked. Then, in 2014, her struggles became public when she was arrested for a DUI. Many assumed she had been drinking, but the truth was much darker. She had been taking painkillers and sleeping pills just to make it through the day. The medication affected her coordination, making her appear intoxicated. The incident revealed just how much her condition had taken over her life. She knew she couldn't keep living like that. She decided to undergo several rounds of surgery, including laser treatments. The procedures finally eased her pain, but they had unexpected consequences. Cortisone treatments caused her hair to fall out. For an actress known for her signature blonde hair, this was another painful loss. She had to wear wigs until her hair grew back, which, at her age, took longer than expected. Through it all, she found comfort in something she had always loved: cooking. She poured her energy into writing recipes for life, My Memories, a memoir cookbook filled with personal stories and favorite recipes. Writing became a form of therapy. It helped her shift her focus away from pain and toward moments of joy. The book included childhood dishes and meals she had learned from famous friends like John Wayne. Each recipe told a story, making the book a reflection of her life. As she healed physically, she also searched for peace within. She left Hollywood behind and moved to a quiet town in Washington. Meditation became part of her daily routine. She studied Eastern philosophies and spent years retraining her mind to find happiness. She often said, "Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is." Linda Evans found her true home far from Hollywood. She lives on a 70-acre ranch in Rainier, Washington, surrounded by nature, a flowing river, and plenty of wildlife. She calls it heaven. Her ex-stepdaughter, Sean Derrick, and her nephew live with her, creating a family environment that brings her peace. Her sister also lives nearby, making their bond even stronger. She moved to Washington after Dynasty to escape the pressure of fame. Life in Hollywood had become overwhelming. She wanted a place where she could be herself without the constant scrutiny. "You want to be where your heart feels safe," she said. The quiet beauty of the Pacific Northwest gave her exactly that. She spends her days cooking, writing, and helping others through charities like Meals on Wheels. Despite her past as a global star, this simple life is what fulfills her. Even though she left acting behind for years, she made a return in 2021 with a role in Swan Song. The film told a story of rediscovery and resilience. Evans played Rita Parker Sloan, a former opera singer who had stepped away from the public eye. Her role was small but powerful. The movie premiered at South by Southwest before hitting theaters. It earned a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics praised Udo Kier's performance as the lead, but also noted the depth Evans brought to the film. She rarely makes public appearances, but in January 2025, she surprised fans with a social media post. It was a New Year's message about personal growth and hinted at new projects. It was her first update in 2 years. Her absence from the spotlight has been intentional, but moments like this remind people she still has stories to share. Over the years, she has stayed close to many former co-stars. Rumors of a rivalry with Joan Collins have followed her for decades, but Evans has always denied any real feud. Their relationship was professional, not personal. They had different personalities, but she respected Collins's dedication. She also remained close to John Forsythe's family, even after his passing in 2010. One of the most surprising friendships she developed was with Bo Derek, the woman her ex-husband John Derek left her for. Their history was complicated, but over time they moved beyond the past and became friends. Fame brought her success, but also challenges. At the height of Dynasty, she felt the weight of public expectations. She was admired as Crystal Carrington, but struggled with the pressure to maintain that perfect image. Walking away from acting in 1989 gave her the chance to reflect. She explored spirituality and meditation, finding comfort in a quieter life. She has always believed that happiness comes from within. "You don't grow old until your dreams die," she said, a reminder that reinvention is always possible. To Evans, success isn't measured by money or recognition. It's about doing what you love and staying true to yourself. She continues to support causes close to her heart, using her platform to make a difference. At 82, she remains a symbol of resilience and grace. She has shown that joy doesn't come from the spotlight. It comes from the life you choose to live and the people you choose to share it with.